Paul Pogba has admitted that he wants a new challenge, so it looks like he'll be leaving Manchester United in the summer. But where's he going to go? That's why Paddy's here with me as we're going to discuss 5 potential destinations for the France midfielder. We're going to kick it off with the most rumoured one of recent weeks, Juventus. A return.
Yeah, and I think this is obviously the return. That's the key part. We've heard for many, many years that Pogba would, many months that Pogba would love to come back to Juventus. It's a logical fit. He knows the club inside out, but it's a different club now. And that's where I think the doubt comes in a little bit with me, especially with Sarri now, just a couple of days in the job. Do you really see that Pogba is the sort of player for him?
I don't, and I've also questioned why it's a challenge. He said he wanted a new challenge, so what's the challenge by going back to the club you've already been at?
I mean, it is a challenge. It's an evolution of Juventus at the moment. If you look at their midfield, Matuidi, Sami Khedira, guys like that, you know, Aaron Ramsey's arrived, Betancourt had a fantastic season. This is still a club in a little bit of flux, particularly in the midfield, and maybe that's where the challenge is.
I just feel like the challenge is winning the Champions League, whichever club you go to.
Correct.
You're only going to go to one of probably the 5 in this video. And you're going to try and win the Champions League. In terms of being an actual challenge, Serie A is already... He won it every season in Serie A, and the Cup. And
it does come down to the Champions League, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not so convinced, unless playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, which I think he may have done once in a League Cup game in the youth teams. But I'm not overly convinced, actually. And I'm not sure, because Sarri was mentioning... We had 2 sides of it this season. Sarri apparently lost control of the dressing room, and Pogba apparently started the revolt in the dressing room. So putting those 2 together...
I would also be, it would be a super interesting team to see how Ronaldo and Pogba actually operate in the same place, because as we know, Ronaldo is one to really show his frustration when he believes a teammate is not pulling his weight. Now, Pogba's a fantastic player, but at certain points, there's been a few question marks about, you know, his ability to track back, to do the team things, etc. Now, those 2 on the pitch together, if something goes wrong, wowee.
Too many egos.
Maybe.
Potentially. Talking of egos, we'll move on to our second club, PSG.
Yeah, well...
Ego galore if he were to move there.
But at the same time, it's almost a bit of a coincidence that if we have a look at the moment that Pogba says that he might be interested in leaving Manchester United, all of a sudden Neymar could be available this summer. 1 + 1 could equal 2.
You're doing the math here, Paddy.
I am, yeah. It's never been a...
Wait, hold on, Neymar to Manchester United or just generally out of PSG altogether?
Generally out of PSG altogether. That was the, again, just reports. It remains to be seen if this actually happens. But I wonder if this could be the path to lead the Frenchman actually back to the capital.
I feel like that's the one thing that PSG have always got. It's like, you're a national hero, come play for the biggest club in the country. I feel like that's going to just draw everybody back, regardless of the fact that I still think it's a strong league, but not as strong as elsewhere.
That makes sense, but I think the challenge then is the same as the Juventus one. They want to win the Champions League at some point, and they're putting a lot behind Mbappe. They obviously have put a lot behind Neymar, but maybe Pogba is that like for like, not replacement on the pitch, but in terms of star power. Yeah,
I think so. They really put all their eggs in one basket.
Yep.
But a team who isn't putting their eggs in one basket is definitely Real Madrid. With these kind of figures, they're throwing it at everybody. The next Galactico, Paul Pogba?
Listen, it's you can see him in white, can't you? I mean, you can really see him in white.
Suit.
Yeah, and this has been a discussion we've been having also for a while as well, that it's been potentially a logical destination for him. But the fact remains is they've already spent well over 300 million euros. Now, if they bring him in for what? How much?
It's like 125.
Yeah, it's going to take their spending to almost 450 million euros. No one's done that before.
There was like a 4-point shortlist from Real Madrid, which they released, saying that they don't want Raiola to get any of the commission. They won't buy him for anything over 125 million euros, which would far exceed, as you said, what other teams have ever paid in a single transfer window. I think the other one was he's going to take a lower wage than at Manchester United.
Wow.
And there was something else about the timing of the deal. So they definitely know they're going to have to spend big. I just wonder if they're really setting themselves up for a massive fall. Surely you can't transform yourself in one window.
And if he comes in, then what actually happens to the people there? I mean, because we've got Kroos, we've got Modric, they've got Isco. I mean, Isco would be the first one out easily, but they've just signed Hazard as well. You know, how do you fit all these guys in?
Asensio.
Yeah, how do you fit all these guys in?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I think Modric has passed it.
He's not passed it. He did win a certain award not so long ago.
Since winning the Ballon d'Or, you definitely start Pogba ahead of him.
I would tend to agree.
Midfield 3.
I would tend to agree, but what happens to Toni Kroos then? Again, not probably his strongest season like Modric.
True.
I disagree that Modric has passed it, by the way. But how do you put all these guys in the same mix?
This is proper Real Madrid. This is, how about buy as many Galacticos as I can and just fit them in the squad no matter what happens.
Throw them in there and just see what happens. Yeah.
Can you imagine Pogba's inconsistent, Hazard goes missing in a big game, and then they've just wasted all that money?
Well, then you can bring on Modric and Kroos, apparently. So
This is very, very true. So that one looks kind of likely, a little less likely to their main rivals, Real Madrid's main rivals in Barcelona. Again, fitting into the team, and certainly the team ethic, as seems to be. Because at Barcelona, it doesn't matter if you're one of the most talented players in the world, like Ousmane Dembele is, if your attitude stinks, you're always going to have a problem. Yeah,
but at the same time, I see these guys as my bit of a dark horse for Pogba, to be honest. Yeah, it's an ageing midfield. They had little problems, or there were some doubts about Rakitic. And Pogba, to be honest, that's a role that he could slot into that Barcelona side. Vidal as well had his injury problems, slightly different players, of course. But I actually think that Barcelona, and they have spent some money already, have looked at what Real Madrid are doing and would love to bring in another big player to tell them to basically sod off.
It also looks like they have to sell though. Whereas Real Madrid, for some reason, look like they don't need to sell. We don't want to bring money in. Coutinho could fetch a lot of money. Vidal and Rakitic, a little bit, not so much, maybe together. If Dembele were to report to leave. But Kevin Prince Boateng isn't coming back.
That's true.
That's devastating, but now there's a place for Pogba.
But there clearly is money at the club to be spent, because, I mean, they were all odds on for Griezmann. We've seen that sort of slowed, could happen, of course, still. But if that money is not spent on Griezmann,
the funds are there.
Yeah, why not Pogba?
Actually, a midfield of De Jong, Arthur, and Pogba.
I've convinced you a little bit, haven't I?
Yeah, you've actually turned it around a little bit. So lastly but not least, talking of all the transfers and all the money, a curveball, he's going to stay at Manchester United.
I can easily see this happening.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. I mean,
seems really plausible.
He's such an expensive player, both in what it's going to take to get him at the club in the first place, let alone what you pay him on a weekly basis. There are only a certain amount of clubs that can afford to do that. Real Madrid, we just mentioned them, tons of money, but have already spent tons of money too. So when is the right time for him to join that club? I'm not sure if it's this season.
Yeah, I really think it could happen. You look at the likes of how difficult has it been to get rid of Alexis Sanchez, Gareth Bale, Mesut Ozil. All these guys would probably accept a transfer, but no one's just going to pay them.
No, exactly.
What's Pogba, 350k a week?
Yeah.
Assuming he'd want a pay rise.
Yeah, and also I think if we go back to the actual comment and the footage and the way he sort of said it, it was almost off the cuff. Do you know what I mean? There was no official statement. People just asking a little bit about, how are we looking forward to new season, and then he just obviously drops the biggest bomb that's got us talking now. It really feels like it maybe wasn't completely thought through either.
Yeah, I feel like, it did seem. I wonder if Minarola have anything to say about it.
Of course he does.
Yeah, of course. He actually isn't banned from transfers now either.
Yeah.
So he could definitely throw some stuff around.
He had plenty of associates who could have done his business for him, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, so, that's very true. Yeah. But what we will do, we'll go through a quick rating for each one then.
Sure.
We'll get Paddy's official hard line on it. So we start with Juventus, out of 10.
Out of 10. I would say 5.
I'm going to go 6.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like the price is right. I'm just going to one up you. Yeah. We then moved on to PSG.
I would give it a 6. Yeah.
I'm going 3. I'm really not seeing that. Yeah. So next was Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, a 4.
I'm going like 6.
That's good. We finally disagree on a few things. Yeah.
Be weird if we just agreed all video.
Agreed.
Barcelona.
I would give that a 7.
I'm going 6, but you definitely turned me around from like a 3 or 4. And staying at Man U,
an 8.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really think people are going to be like, that contract and the transfer fees, 200 million, easily.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And make sure you let us know in the comment section where you think Pogba's going to go. He's going to end up leaving, or is he going to sit on his sorry ass on the bench? Or maybe he'll turn this act around and get back into the starting lineup. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.